Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Weird Sports Podcast for January 31st, 2025. It's a Friday. I hope that all of you have very fun weekend plans. You get to watch, or probably not watch the Pro Bowl, Senior Bowl at the very least. This is like our first weekend without actual football since September. It's going to be sad, that's to be sure, but it's getting us ready for the long spring after the Super Bowl. Unless you watch the UFL, which, maybe I'll cover it on this channel. Get a little bit of, content there. But for the most part, this is it. But I'll be here probably covering hockey with Chris, basketball with Ryan and Jack, and maybe some baseball mixed in. But today is still a football-centric episode. We're still in the NFL season, and we'll start off with a story that I don't want to cover, a shocking story, I think. Like anytime you hear about a prominent athlete doing something, heinous like this is when they say especially heinous, the Law and Order SVU intro, this would be regarding it. So Justin Tucker, the kicker for the Baltimore Ravens, has been accused by 6 massage therapists of being a creep, being a sexual assaulter, as being somebody who has essentially terrorized massage parlors for the better part of the last decade. And now that this is like coming out, there's been people tracking down different Reddit threads, different tweets referencing this stuff that when they came out, you're probably like, that doesn't sound true. I don't know how accurate that is, but now it might be. And, obviously innocent before proven guilty, but I want to read a little bit of the Baltimore Banner's article on it. So, 2 spas say that they banned Tucker. He denies the ban and behavior that women say has left them emotionally scarred. Ravens kicker Justin Tucker engaged in inappropriate behavior at 4 high-end spas and wellness centers in the Baltimore region. According to 6 massage therapists, including exposing his genitals, brushing 2 of them with his exposed penis, and leaving what they believe to be ejaculate on the massage table after 3 of his treatments. Several therapists said Tucker's behavior was so egregious that they ended his sessions early or refused to work on him again. And at 2 spas, management said that they banned him from returning. After receiving a tip on Jan 9th, the Banner began investigating and spoke to 6 massage therapists who recounted troubling first-hand experiences with Tucker ranging from 2012 to 2016. The women said that they had long waited to tell their stories. And if you want, I'll leave a link to that full article there, but just kind of sets the scene. So we already had a very weirdly similar situation with Deshaun Watson. He was rewarded for, I guess, settling out of court with his victims, and then got a huge, fully guaranteed contract with the Cleveland Browns. I think Justin Tucker, if this, is proven to be true, or if this doesn't go away in the same way that Deshaun Watson's went away, and even if he can settle it, I think this is probably the end for Justin Tucker. He had a bad season just from like a football perspective of anything outside of 50 yards this season. Perhaps this was weighing over his head. Perhaps he knew that this article was coming out at some point and he was distracted. But like I said, just a very surprising, horrible situation. Feel terrible for the victims. And yeah, I mean, obviously innocent before proven guilty here. We'll have to wait for more of the facts to come out. Problem with situations like this, oftentimes, especially when it's, regarding a high profile athlete or celebrity, is we don't ever really hear about it unless it goes to court. Most times situations like this are settled outside of court. So we may never hear about where this goes. But what happened with Deshaun Watson was a few people came forward, and then more and more people came forward to where it was like over 20 accusers happening there. So I guess we'll see if that's something that happens here. I mean, like I said, people have dug up tweets and Reddit comments of people in the past, way before like this situation broke out, essentially saying like Justin Tucker is a known sex pest, is a known, sexual assaulter in these massage parlors. He's been banned from several of them. So that more than anything to me lends credence that like this is a real situation. Like, I know people always want to say like, well, he could be being extorted. He's famous, he's rich. Sure, but like these other people who either had like anonymous accounts or were just like regular people tweeting about this were just like that don't really have anything to gain. If anything, they only had stuff to lose. So I guess we'll see. Again, innocent before proven guilty, but what a horrible situation and not something that you want to see happen. And I was like almost hesitant to cover it because like who am I? Like just a guy with a microphone and YouTube channel. Certainly not like an expert on any of these things, but I did feel like we have covered situations like this, like the Blackhawks situation on the channel. And like I would feel weird if I was just like, well, I'm not going to cover it because it makes me very uncomfortable to cover it. So that's what I'm doing here. I would love to hear your thoughts about the situation in the comments, and let's move on. So moving on to the messy situation with the new Jaguars coach here. Let's see. So Liam Coen is going to be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cohen's been kind of like renowned for being a quarterback whisperer. He helped Tampa Bay as their offensive coordinator and bring Baker Mayfield to new heights. And he went to have an interview with the Jaguars. The Jaguars wanted to obviously do their due diligence with the Rooney Rule, and the Cohen wasn't completely sold on the situation either. So he went back to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are like, hey, we'll make you the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league, the highest paid of any coordinator if you stay. Cohen was like, cool, I'll stay. That sounds great. Not really sold on the Jaguars job anyways. Then the Jaguars fired GM Trent Baalke, and I guess that made the situation a lot more appealing to Cohen. So Cohen was supposed to come in and sign his contract with the Buccaneers, and then, he didn't show up. He called. His agent was like, hey, he has a personal matter. Buccaneers were like, that's fine. He can come later. He didn't come that day. They're like, he's still dealing with a personal matter the next day when he was supposed to come in and sign it then. They're like, okay, that's fine. Well, we'll see what happens. While this is happening, he talks to Jacksonville again. He gets hired as their head coach, and the Buccaneers are left holding the bag, if you will. Obviously, from like a strictly like career advancement and like money way, of course, Liam Cohen's gonna become a head coach if he has an opportunity that he likes. And obviously, with firing Trent Baalke, that became an opportunity. They seem to, you know, be more appealing to him. And it's very unfortunate that it ended up being messy. And then the Buccaneers, didn't want to get holding the bag like they were. So a added layer to this is Adam Schefter of ESPN reported that the Buccaneers blocked the Jaguars' request to interview offensive line coach Brian Pichui. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that name, Brian. As a fellow Brian with a hard to pronounce last name, my condolences. For a spot on Cohen's staff in Jacksonville. He, was working with Cohen last season, and obviously he would have gotten a promotion here to go to Jacksonville, but the Buccaneers, more or less, are spurned by this entire situation. They're upset and they're blocking it. So I wonder if that will have repercussions down the line. Like, will other coaches be like, I don't know if I want to work for the Buccaneers? That their ownership group is a little petty. I mean, it, Brian didn't have anything to do with this. He wasn't the one who, you know, put this all into motion. for the Buccaneers to get left holding the bag. He's just someone who's working to try to improve his career and his life, and he is the one more severely punished than anyone else in this situation. Like Liam Cohen, he'll be okay. He'll find someone else. I guess if Brian knows he has a job, can he quit? Can he just leave? Like surely you're not like bound by like law. I don't know. That's something I don't know. If anyone has a better, understanding of how that kind of thing might work. Like obviously like a player can't just quit a team because they're under contract. Is it the same for the coach? Would he have his rights technically and then he can't? I guess that's probably it, right? He would still have the rights with the Buccaneers and not be able to just go to another team. But very interesting situation. We'll be very interested to see how that's going to affect other potential hires for the Buccaneers going forward and see who gets, an offensive coordinator job in Jacksonville. If you're a Buccaneers or Jaguars fan, love to hear your thoughts about this one in the comments. Then final story for this week to send you off into the weekend. And I'm going to put this up, even though it's the last story I'm covering, I'll probably put this up quickly because who knows what will happen. But we do a segment on this channel called the Bayou Breakdown. That's with Jack and I. He's a Saints fan, so we talk about that. Jack not available today, but I still wanted to talk a little bit about the situation going on in New Orleans. They are not able to find a coach, and they've had multiple interviews with Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, and then Kellen Moore, who is the Eagles offensive coordinator. Obviously, the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl next week, so who knows how much they're able to talk to him during all this, but the reports are that Kellen Moore is the favorite to land the Saints job, which, is great. Everything should be good, right? Well, not so fast. Kellen Moore is apparently not sold on the job. This is from LouisianaSports.net. As the recent Senior Bowl week wraps up in Mobile, Alabama, rumors are swirling that Moore may be underwhelmed with a key piece of the NFL puzzle when it comes to New Orleans Saints, the team's quarterback room. Per The Athletic, NFL insider Deanna Ursini, there was a, quote, scuttlebutt in Mobile that Moore may not like the Saints job because the Saints don't have a quarterback already in place. Ursini said that the Scoop City podcast that she believes Moore has, quote, come around on the issue with a belief that he may see New Orleans as the right landing spot after all. So basically coming down to, will Kellen Moore take the job, or will Derek Carr being in place prevent him from taking this job? I think it would be, I'll say this. The Saints are not in a good spot. The Saints mortgaged their future when Drew Brees was still on the team to put solid teams around him to give them a chance to win the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, they never did get over that hump again to win another Super Bowl. They kept kicking the can down the road. They were in win now mode. Now their team is lacking a lot of talent that they would have otherwise had if they hadn't made these bold moves in order to try to put the talent around Drew Brees back then. On the Bayou Breakdown, I've discussed with Jack that like I don't really have a ton of respect for Sean Payton benefiting from those moves, trying to win with Drew Brees, going all in, and then when Drew Brees retires, when the bill becomes due, Sean Payton retires for a year and then works out a way to get traded to Denver. I don't have a ton of respect for him for that. Obviously, it'll be good for him. Broncos made the playoffs this season with him, but now the Saints are in a bad spot because they're not in an especially attractive place for any first-time head coaches to come. Like, almost certainly, barring like major changes. I mean, hey, the Broncos owed a lot of money to Russell Wilson. They were able to make it work, make the playoffs. Saints will probably have to do something similar, draft a quarterback high. Are there any good quarterbacks to do that right now? Up up to your own interpretation, I guess, but they're in a bad spot right now, and I think that Kellen Moore is understandably hesitant to take the job. Does that mean Anthony Weaver will take it? I think eventually Kellen Moore will take the job. Once there is official word, Jack and I will come together. We will do a Bayou breakdown, kind of talking about this whole situation. But yeah, no one wants to coach the Saints right now. Kind of surprising. If you're a Saints fan, how are you feeling about all this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And that will do it for January, all of January, not just January 31st, but all of January, last January of the month. I've really enjoyed doing these podcasts with you a couple times a week, getting a ton of little clips out there on the channel, trying to grow this channel. It has worked. More people have subscribed. They're seemingly enjoying the content, and I'm really enjoying making it. I really do appreciate everyone who stops by, subscribes, likes, comments, all that. Please keep doing that. If you're so inclined, please share it with your friends, your enemies, whoever. Again, really appreciate it. And we will see you on Monday for another episode of the Wicked Good Sports Podcast. If you somehow haven't had your fill of me, if you somehow can't get enough of hearing my voice, check out our main channel, Wicked Good Everything, where we cover video game and pop culture news, and our podcasting channel for all our podcasts that are not sports related under the Wicked Good Everything umbrella. That is, of course, Better Radio. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. We will see you in the next one.